So a quick video here, just want to do another review to move forward in my Dream Theater review series, and here we are with their 1995 EP, A Change of Seasons. So basically, in 1995, a year after releasing Awake, Dream Theater wanted to release something that would better showcase them as a prog artist. So they decided to release a short, well, I guess not really short, but an EP that would showcase their talents more as a epic progressive band, similar to their influences of Yes and Genesis and Rush. So they dedicate 23 minutes of this album's 57-minute run time to one song called A Change of Seasons. I'm going to close the door. Hold on, I'm going to close the door. And that 23-minute long song basically is what people remember from this. The other songs on the album are all covers of songs from artists that the band feels are some of their other influences. And yeah, that's basically what this is. And they specifically marketed this album as an EP to convince listeners that this is not like a full-length album. This is not what they are intending to release as commercially successful stuff. Although the title track was used in a segment on downhill skiing at the Winter Olympics 7 years later. So it's incidentally kind of weird. But anyways, on to the songs on the album. So number one, A Change of Seasons, which is what you heard in the album cover screen. This song, in my opinion, it's good. A lot of people consider this Dream Theater's top five, top five Dream Theater songs, and I think it falls into that category mainly because people just really like epics. And yeah, I like my fair share of epics too, but this song feels as good as so this is gonna offend some people. I think it feels to me as good as the other songs that I like on Images and Words. So like if this were to be on Images and Words, I think it would be on par with Learning to Live or Under a Glass Moon, which I find to be lower tier awesome songs on that album. So I'm not dissing A Change of Seasons in any way. I think that it's a great song, but it does not really live up to its status as incredible, and I find it to be a little disappointing, actually. But yeah, it's 23 minutes long. It's very influenced by the themes of Carpe Diem or Seize the Day, and then like learning to live your life like a certain way as if you're going to die sometime soon, so better to live it now than later. Yeah, it's got a great message. The lyrics are there's moments where they're very impactful and powerful, but at the same time there's moments where they're kind of forgettable and not so great. The intro, the first 6 minutes of the song is the best part of the song. Then when James starts singing, it kind of loses a little bit of its flair, but then the Carpe Diem part comes back in during that Another World part, or is it Inevitable Summer? It's one of those towards the end, and then that's where it starts picking up again and gets great, and then the ending is just kind of a little it doesn't feel like the other epics in Dream Theater's catalog, such as 6 Degrees of Inner Turbulence or Octavarium or Count of Tuscany, which I find to be great from start to finish. This song has its moments where I wish it were 7 songs, basically. So yeah, overall Change of Seasons is great, but it's got some flaws. And then we go into four covers, sorry. They feel a lot more because they're still pretty long, like 34 minutes in length for all of them combined. So it starts off with a cover of Elton John's classic Funeral for a Friend / Love Lies Bleeding, which is probably my favorite Elton John song, coincidentally. Listening to it as the Elton John version, I was like, you know, that would be a cool song for Dream Theater to play. And then I found out that they did it, which is kind of cool. Yeah, it's the perfect song for Dream Theater to cover, and I actually find this to be one of Dream Theater's best covers they've ever done, so would really recommend it, but I'd probably point you in the direction of the original first to listen to, because that's the classic. So, great song. And then it goes into Perfect Strangers, which is a cover of a Deep Purple classic off of their same titled album from 1984, which is another one of my favorite Deep Purple albums. This cover is good, but it tends to... I don't really like James's vocals on this one. Kind of dulls it down a little bit, which is why it's just not really that great. Then another cover, Led Zeppelin medley, called the Led Zeppelin medley, with fragments from The Rover, Achilles' Last Stand. The song remains the same. None of these three songs are my favorite Led Zeppelin songs, but I do like Achilles' Last Stand the most out of all three of them, and it frankly is the best part of this medley. But the medley as a whole feels very rushed and not very well put together to me, and I don't really recommend it. It's just kind of meh to me. The big medley is next, which is a medley of all sorts of different songs, which I found to be a little more pleasing than the last two, because at least it's got some sort of fresh new variants. So it starts off with In the Flesh by Pink Floyd, a cover of that. Goes into a little bit of Carry On My Wayward Son, which is really cool, best part of the song. Bohemian Rhapsody by Queen, which actually is not that bad either. You'd think, ooh, James LaBrie singing that would be not very good, but he actually does a pretty good job on it. But and then it goes into the worst part of the song, Lovin', Touchin', Squeezin', originally by Journey. But that might have to do with the original's value. Luckily, that's not too long. It goes into a little section of Cruise Control by the Dixie Dregs, which, incidentally, I really like the Dixie Dregs. They're pretty awesome. Steve Morris is awesome, too. I've talked about him in that Top 10 Albums video about Kansas, the Prelude Implicit. Yeah, but Dixie Dregs are cool, and then they do a little bit of that. And then they finish it off with a tiny part of Turn It On Again, which is a cool way to end. These four covers, nobody seems to play out of their shell. Nobody seems to be, like, you know, really playing great, except for John Petrucci. He's the one that's really displaying himself the most in these four covers. But that's totally different on the Change of Seasons song. I don't really find Petrucci to be all that prevalent on that song. It's mainly a Mike Portnoy-inspired thing. So, yeah, and that's... I don't know if that's a good thing or bad thing. I kind of liked his drumming on there, and this song as a whole had some great drumming on it, too. So, yeah, that's the album. I mean, this was kind of a short video for me to do, but at the same time, you know, why not get it out of the way? Now this is where I'm going to get some people. A Change of Seasons by Dream Theater gets a 3.5 out of 5. Yes, it's probably because of the dragging down of the covers. I mean, they're cover songs. What are you going to say compared to their original stuff? And the title track and epic on the album, whatever you want to call it, is disappointing, to say the least, but it's still a very good song. But I would not say it's top 5 Dream Theater material, which I'm probably going to get some flack about, but, you know, whatever. So anyways, if you enjoyed this video, I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you can take my opinion with a grain of salt. I mean, if it's your favorite song, I respect your opinion, so that's good for you. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.